When you see the celebrations of the Irish, and then you see the celebrations of the Scottish, and you hear the words of people like Andy Robertson describing his relationship with Diogo Jota, explaining to each other how much the World Cup means, then you realize how special that tournament is to represent your country, to be with your friends and your countrymen, and to go to a tournament and play for your nation. Now it's feeling real. We're getting closer to the final stages of the qualification, and we can see who's going to make it and who's at the last chance saloon. So today I thought what we do is look at the final qualifiers, one going through the Intercontinental playoff and one going two spots available for the Intercontinental playoff, and then there's 4 spots available for the UEFA playoff. UEFA has 16 spots. Yes, 16 out of 48. That's 33% of the competition is UEFA. So Gattuso, I don't know what you're smoking, but yeah, you've got 33%. If you can't qualify out of that 16, you've got issues. So I'm hoping Italy makes it through, but let's see. So UEFA, 12 groups. All 12 winners went through. The 12 runners-up plus 4 Nations League winners. 4 of the best Nations League teams not to qualify. It's a very complicated, very confusing, very silly system in many ways. I'm not sure why you would do that. What has happened is you ended up with a team like Sweden finishing bottom of the group, but qualifying for the playoffs through the Nations League performance, which is really ridiculous if you see the performance of the Swedes this tournament. And then we have, I'll go through all of that shortly, but then we have the Intercontinental playoffs with 6 nations competing for 2 spots. So in each pot there's going to be 3 teams. The 2 lowest ranked teams will play off for a spot in the final against the highest ranked teams. So in this case, what happened here is that we have the 2 highest ranked nations of the 6 that qualified. So if you look at these 6 nations, the highest seeded team is Iraq and Congo. I think it's Congo first, then Iraq, and they go straight into the final. And then the other 4 were drawn to play them. So they were drawn against each other. New Caledonia is from Oceania. They lost out to New Zealand. To be fair, New Caledonia is quite a terrible team, and Jamaica is smiling to be playing New Caledonia and then possibly advancing to the final where they should meet Congo. DR Congo is a challenging team. They're full of talented players, a lot of Euro origin players, but still a lot of Congolese players as well. So you'll see a lot of familiar names there. Players like Aaron Wan-Bissaka will be there. And then you have the bottom team, which is Bolivia, who finished 7th in CONMEBOL qualifying. So the 7th place in CONMEBOL has a playoff spot here. So remember, Bolivia got there on the final day of qualifying in South America, where they beat Brazil at home at altitude in their brand new stadium with significant advantage of the altitude. I think they beat the Brazilians, which meant that the Venezuelans missed out on the last day of qualifying. So there's a long qualifying process in South America where they play 18 games. So they play each other twice, home and away. And at the end of that, Bolivia and Venezuela were in the running on that final day. Venezuela were ahead going into the start of the day, but Bolivia's win against Brazil and I think it was Venezuela's loss meant that Bolivia went through on the final day into the Intercontinental playoff. Their reward is a team, Suriname, who I feel so bad for Suriname. Suriname, if you don't know, is I suppose you call them a Dutch colony, so they've got links to the Dutch, and a lot of the players and ancestry that qualify to play for this team actually comes from the Netherlands. So they were doing well in qualifying, and just over the last two matches, it seemed like things slipped away, and they missed out on automatic qualification. But they have qualified for this playoff, and this is going to be a very difficult match between Suriname and Bolivia. It's hard to call. If I had to flip a coin, I'd probably go with Bolivia, but I think this is a 50-50 game. It's going to be really, really tight, and then whoever wins that match will play Iraq. So it's a strange one, because none of these 6 teams you're going to be overly scared if you get them in the full qualification, in the full World Cup, but it's quite evenly matched in terms of, I would assume Jamaica will play Congo in the final, and I'd assume Bolivia would play Iraq in the final on the other side. And from those 4 teams, my money would be on Congo and Bolivia, but I would not place my house on it. So it's quite a even playoff to get to the World Cup. Remember, next year's World Cup is an extended World Cup. There's 48 teams. Yes, 48 teams. That's almost 25% of the world qualifies for the World Cup. So 48 teams. I think we can all agree that's too many. It's probably going to dilute the tournament. But what it does is it opens up it opens up the World Cup for surprises, because what you're going to find happening is that from the group phase into the second round phase, or the round of 32, you're going to get 8 third place teams. So if you are placed in a group, to qualify, you'd probably need to win 1 game. Now, if you get into a group with a really, really bad 4th place team, and you get a really good goal difference, you could win that 1 game with a significant goal difference and get through to the knockouts. And then from there, all bets are off, because it's just a 1 game playoff. And on your day, you never know. Somebody could get a red card, you could take the game to penalties, and your nation could be going through the round of 32, and then the round of 16. I'd imagine a lot of the teams would thin out by the quarterfinals. But what's going to happen, in my opinion, is you're going to get a lot of these routes that are stacked on one side of the draw, and possibly on the other side of the draw, you're going to find a very open route to the final. So this is going to be if you're a mid team, like if you are not top level team, you're a second pot team or third pot team, you could actually go far in this World Cup if you are organized and you can manage the group and be defensively solid, let's say. Okay, so that's the playoff. So that's the playoff the playoff for the Intercontinental playoff. My anticipation here is DR Congo to go through. I'm hoping Suriname. I would love to see a Suriname, but I anticipate Bolivia versus Iraq, and I have no idea, but I'll probably give it to the Bolivians. Now for Europe. Europe's qualifying was there's quite a lot of teams, so 12 teams, 12 groups. And of the 12 groups, the 12 winners went straight into the tournament, and then the 12 runners-up went into the playoffs. And you can see them here in pot 1, 2, and 3. Those are the 12 runners-up in all those groups. And then the 4 Nations League wildcards. So the 4 teams that, and this is how they explain it, the highest-ranked Nations League teams that did not qualify. So essentially what that means is I think they were on the second page or third page of the Nations League qualifier. So the lucky teams here is Romania, Northern Ireland, North Macedonia, and Sweden. Now, why this is interesting is pot 4 Sweden had a shocking qualification. So much so that they fire their manager, and they have a brand new manager in Graham Potter, who's going to be basically taking charge of them for that playoff. I think he's on board now, but he's going to be have some time to prepare for that playoff in March. The Swedish team is actually a team that has a lot of quality, especially going forward. You know their names. You've heard of Viktor Gyökeres, Kulusevski, Ilanga, Ayari, Alexander Isak. A lot of quality players. You see them everywhere, and the fact that they were that bad in qualifying was a surprise, because they had a relatively easy group. The one tough team probably was Switzerland, but they lost to, I think it was Kosovo twice, and they lost to, I think it was Switzerland twice. It might have been once, but they did very poorly, and I think the other team was Slovenia or Slovakia, one of these two. Sorry, it was Slovenia. So Slovenia, Kosovo, and Switzerland, and they managed to fumble that there. But they are in the playoffs, and now what's going to happen is the draw today basically put pot 1 and pot 4, and then pot 2 and pot 3. And of these 16 teams, you're going to get 4 nations going into the World Cup. So basically, pot 1 versus pot 4, pot 2 versus pot 3, and you're going to separate them in 4 parts. So what happened today's draw? Today's draw was it introduced some really nice matchups, some very tough routes here. It's not going to be easy for any of these teams. The team that's going to be relatively happy is probably going to be the Italians. So Italy, Northern Ireland. So Italy versus Northern Ireland, and that's going to be in Italy. Northern Ireland is a very difficult team, very difficult, because they are well disciplined, very well disciplined, and they could catch you on the counter. But Italy should, and I say it should, because Italy, remember, is a team that has not qualified since 2014. I might be wrong, but I don't think they qualified 18, and I don't think they qualified 22. So 2014 might be the last time they played at a World Cup, and that was the World Cup where they exited in the group stage, having won 1 game, if I'm not mistaken. So the last, when they were defending champions in 2010, they exited in the group after drawing with New Zealand. Then they went to 2014, and they played in, I think it was a group of death, but still they got knocked out, finishing in the bottom 2. And then they have not qualified in 2018 and 2022. And they've also failed to qualify for 2 of the Euros, 2 of the last 3 Euros. So it's amazing, but this is a sneak for you, is don't bet against Italy. Italy has got so much of quality. Their only major issue is that they don't really have a striker. So their quality up front is where they really lack. So Italy should get past Northern Ireland, and then they have a game against Wales or Bosnia. Whew, that's going to be fun, but Wales is not a great team, but they do have home advantage. My money there is on Bosnia. So Bosnia to get through to play Italy. The draw says the match is going to be in Bosnia. So Italy versus Bosnia in Bosnia for a place at the World Cup. I can see that game maybe being 1-0 or maybe going to penalties. My money would still be on Italy to get through. Next part, Ukraine were the seeded team. Sweden was the team in pot 4. Both of them are relatively happy to get that draw. Sweden would have looked at pot 1 and saw Italy, Turkey, Denmark, and Ukraine. So they were probably would have been happy to see Ukraine. That's the easiest that they probably could have got. And then the winner of that game gets the home final. So whoever wins between Ukraine and Sweden will play Poland or Albania. This is so difficult to call. So difficult to call. Albania is one of those stubborn teams that can just surprise you. Poland generally qualifies for the World Cup. They've got decent players without... their one world-class player is Robert Lewandowski. He's probably at the end of his career. But they've got generally some decent players like Zielinski and Matty Cash and players like this. But it's not the old Poland. And this is going to be so difficult. The game is going to be in Poland though, so it's a hard one to call, very difficult one to call. I've got a lot of friends in Poland, so my bias would say Poland, but I can see this game being very close, possibly one goal in it. I'd probably say Poland gets through and then they play the final in Sweden. So Sweden, my money is on Sweden to get past Ukraine for no reason, no logical reason. I just see this, they probably saw this as a last chance saloon. This is a gift that was given to them, and then the match will probably be played in Stockholm. So Sweden versus Poland for a place at the World Cup in Stockholm. And when it's in Stockholm, okay, in Stockholm I'd say Sweden, but all depending on how Potter can get the best out of these quality players. Kulusevski, Gyökeres, Ilanga, Isak. Fire up front. Okay, next part is Turkey and Romania, Slovakia and Kosovo. Turkey, I love to watch the Turks play. I hope they make it. They were a little bit unlucky in that they had a group with a very tough first seed. I think the Turks had the the Spanish. So it was, I can see the Turkish beating the Romanians and then playing the final. I'm not sure where this final is probably going to be. I think it might be actually be in Slovakia or Kosovo. Slovakia or Kosovo, very difficult teams. Kosovo got to this finishing second behind Switzerland, so beating Sweden twice. So it's not an easy team, but I would still say Slovakia would get past Kosovo, playing the first game in Bratislava. So Slovakia to get through, and then Turkey, Slovakia in the final. It's going to be very interesting. My money would be on Turkey. Arda Güler, Kenan Yildiz. I'm not sure if that game is going to be in Turkey or if it's going to be in Slovakia. But if it's in Turkey, definitely Turkey. If it's in Slovakia, it's going to be a horrible night for everybody. Next up, Denmark, North Macedonia, Czechia versus Republic of Ireland. Denmark is the best team, I think, of all these teams in the playoffs here. They were, I wouldn't say unlucky, because they dropped the ball in their last two games, not just the last game. They drew with Belarus at home, which probably would have put them through because their goal difference was so much better than the Scots. And then they found a way to lose to the Scots 4-2 in Scotland, after bringing it back to 2-2 with like 10 minutes to go. That was one of the best international football games you could have seen. And then the Scots got two goals in after the 90th minute. So Denmark is in a little bit of a shock. They are much better than this. They should have qualified directly. But having said that, I still see them getting past North Macedonia easily in Copenhagen, and then playing the final against Czechia. This is another one. Czechia or Republic of Ireland. Republic of Ireland scoring that late. So Mr. Troy Parrott scoring the third goal with the last kick of the game to send them through to this playoff. That is a wave. That is a wave of euphoria that's going to come with them. So they are going to invade Prague. So if you're in Prague and you know that the Czechs have the best beer, Prague is an amazing city. So the Irish in Prague is going to be unbelievable. So that's going to be a highlight. So if I had to watch one game here, I'd probably watch that game. Czechia versus Ireland, the Republic of Ireland. Czechia, home advantage, but I'm going with the euphoria of the Irish. Just getting to this knockout means they're coming in with confidence, and I can see them taking this home to Dublin, and then playing off against Denmark at the Aviva in Dublin. That will be an almighty party in March, pretty much around St. Patrick's Day. That would be an unbelievable sight if they can qualify. So if they can qualify there, I see that match being Denmark versus Ireland. Denmark should get through, but we've said that before. So beware, and remember, the only reason you are in these playoffs is because you failed to be one of the top 12 teams in your continent. So you've earned the right to be in these playoffs. You can't complain, Mr. Gattuso, Mr. Italy. You failed to qualify from your group, and this is your reward. So your reward is, it's not even a 50-50 chance. There's 16 teams with the 4 spots. That's a 25% chance. So good luck to everybody. This is going to be fun. I can't wait. I can't wait for March next year. I hope they start preparing, and may the best team win.